Hi. Another port that you might sail into or at least fly into before sailing is Cape Town. Quite often the cruises go out of Durban, but Cape Town is the place that people go to stay for a few days usually, and that's what we did. Hi, I'm Jan Obridge. I'm the cruise queen. So we stayed in Cape Town. Cape Town has 64% of the whole population of South Africa lives in Cape Town. So it's a very vibrant city, very diverse city. A lot of people wonder if it's safe. Actually, it is very safe, although like any place, you've got to take your normal precautions. I mean, you know, just like you would in London. So don't go around, you know, flashing your cash or leaving your bag open or whatever, no more than you would do in an English city. But generally, Cape Town's very safe. We walked around, and although some of our fellow cruisers were a bit apprehensive about walking around, we actually found that it was very safe and really nice. The people were lovely, and we found a lovely little restaurant just up from our hotel where we had a lovely lunch, very unusual lunch. And just beautiful. I mean, we loved it. So we had a good wander before coming back to our hotel. Now, what we did was we arrived lunchtime on day one. And so we didn't go anywhere really except to wander on day one. We walked around, as I said, had some lunch, wandered around that area of the city, walked all over the place, and then came back to the hotel to get changed for dinner. We had thought about having dinner in the hotel, but discovered that our hotel in the restaurant did not serve wine, and I admit to enjoying a glass of wine. You could get wine in the bar where you could get your food delivered to, but there was nowhere to sit in the bar except coffee tables. So it was a bit of a mismatch for me. So we went out. We went to the waterside. Now, waterside is like the big posh area. So we went with another couple, got a cab, and it's very expensive. It really is aimed at tourists. But we had a really lovely meal. It was beautiful, beautifully served, beautifully cooked, beautiful. But it was, by South African standards, expensive. Probably no more than you pay in a restaurant in England, but by South African standards, it's quite expensive. Cost you a lot more at waterside than it would in another local restaurant in South Africa, in Cape Town. So we did that, and then the next day we had booked, as part of our trip actually, we'd got a city tour and Table Mountain booked. So we'd already booked for Table Mountain and city tour all in one package, which is about £30. So very, very, very worth doing. With Table Mountain, it can be a little bit hit and miss, because if the wind is up and the clouds are over the mountain, they just don't open. The cable car does not open. So this is the only full day we had. So we started out in the morning. Our guide said to us, we had a minibus full of people. Our guide said, look, we can't go up Table Mountain now because it's not open. So we'll do the city tour first. So we said, okay, fine. So throughout the day, we just kept looking up at Table Mountain until he said, it's open, let's go. But in the meantime, we saw some really interesting things. There's a statue of Nelson Mandela and Bishop Tutu, both on one building. That's really interesting. And he took us to a lot of different places that were there before apartheid or during apartheid, and then how they've changed since then. He took us to a place that was where they used to decide whether you were black or white. So, or black or coloured or whatever. So they used to do the pencil test. They put a pencil in your hair, and if it fell out, then you were not black. It was actually, whether you were black or Malay, a lot of the population at the time were from Malaysian descent, so you were either black, Malay or white. And so if they weren't sure, they'd do the pencil test. That's what our guide told us. So very interesting facts, and really quite an interesting tour, and quite scary really when you think about how prejudice ruled supreme in South Africa for so long, and but quite exciting to see how the new South Africa is moving on, and how people can talk about it without rancour, and now want to have a united, forward-thinking South Africa, which was really good to see. Another place that we visited was a museum. And again, interesting, lots of stuff in there. We were whiling away our time really, because we wanted to go up Table Mountain. And we also went to a diamond cutting place. Now, you know, you've got to know that they want to take you to buy stuff. And one couple we went to, they did. They gave us cocktails when we arrived, and showed us all the diamond cutting process and so on, which was really interesting. But I didn't want to buy a diamond, and but there was one lady there that did, and so we waited around drinking cocktails until they were ready to go. Another place in Cape Town that we didn't go to, that I would have liked to have gone to, is something, I think it's called the Ice Bar, and it's all ice. It's like an igloo. You go inside and you have to have your coat on, and everything's served in ice glasses and things. We didn't get to go because my husband didn't want to do it, so we did that. Now, Table Mountain, there are queues and queues. Actually, there are two queues. Everyone goes in one of those queues because it's queuing to actually get on the cable car. The other one is queuing to get tickets to go on the cable car. So we were blessed because we already had our tickets, so we just went in the one queue. Probably we were in the queue for maybe 45 minutes, but the people, and they're very strict, it's a very narrow area. You can't just go and get your tickets and kind of sneak in the front. You can't do that. So we lined up to go in, but it was nice weather and people were chatty and it was very pleasant and the views were stunning. But best idea, get your tickets before you go. Otherwise, you've got two queues to line up for, one for your ticket and one to actually get on. So when we got up there, there were a lot of places to look out and see, lots of different areas showing you different things. There was a cafe up there. I sat there and had a glass of wine to do a Facebook Live from there. Very pleasant, just very nice. It was a little chilly up there, but not cold, just a little cooler because you're quite high up, but just amazing. And I was thrilled to be up there because Table Mountain has been one of my bucket list things for a long time. Lots of my friends from Cape Town, and they told me about Table Mountain, so I was so glad that we managed to get up there. That night we went across to a steakhouse very close to our hotel, and my husband had the most delicious steak, kind of massive steak with everything to go with it, and a glass of wine or a beer, can't remember which. I had a glass of wine or two and fish, and it cost us like less than £20 for both of us. It was amazing. So what we paid at the waterside was like 3 times what we paid in the local restaurant. So, and yet we had great ambiance. There was a piano player, and it was just really great atmosphere in there, and the food was delicious. So do look around, enjoy Cape Town. The next morning we had very little time before we had to go to the airport to fly to Durban. I must say, so Cape Town Airport is not the most wonderful place to spend 6 hours in, which is what we ended up doing as our plane was delayed. But nevertheless, they did have free Wi-Fi, so that was a plus. But Cape Town, oh, love to go back. Just loved it. One of those places that I just feel I'd like to go and spend a lot more time there. So definitely.